Which one of us is introing?
You can.
Oh, okay, I just did the Instagram, but whatever. What's going on, guys? You probably just listened to the YouTube video, and now you're waiting for this. So here it is. Hopefully Andy's going to be able to get it out soon, but as he mentioned, he's got a lot going on. This is officially, as posted, episode 9. Unfortunately, last week we had a little bit of a mishap. An awesome, fucking awesome episode. Hilarious. One of my favorites. It just, unfortunately, whenever you're, growing up and you're being an adult, you can only say and do so many things, which we understand and we get that.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
I know some of you got to see it, some of us closest to us. For those of you that are close to us, that aren't just crazy-ass people, let us know, because it is archived and we do have it, and it was great. There were some ridiculously funny moments, so it's unfortunate because it was amazing. I do want to preface and say, if you're going to come on, you don't have to talk about, drinking or old time stories. Me and Andy want to use this as a platform for people to promote themselves and their businesses and, anything that they got going on in their lives. And we talked about it from day one, before we even ever recorded an episode, that, me and Andy are going to use this as therapy. And when Andy told me that, on his side, I didn't really understand, because, he's got the things that you think you would want in life, and have a good life and do all that and got all that shit. But for me, I don't. But I can understand coming into Andy's house today to film this episode what he means by therapy.
Chaos.
Pure chaos. But for me, this is like the most important thing to me in my life now. 4 months ago, I had other priorities and things that that I cared about and loved, and I was passionate for, and unfortunately they're gone. And this probably never would have happened had that situation happened. So
very true.
Everything happens for a reason, but I do want to use this as a platform, because there's people out there that have stories to tell, good or bad,
or to vent.
Yeah,
really, honestly, to vent, like we said, therapy. But again, we understand, like, in the moment, obviously we're having some adult beverages. You start bullshitting about stuff, and we all have jobs, and we all got things outside of this hour to 2 hours,
right?
Bullshitting to buddies. So we get it, no big deal. It was fun. We appreciate Sam. And last episode, it was cool as shit. Great to see him back. And we'll do it again.
Literally fucking hilarious. So I died when I was watching it.
No, but it was good, and but we'll do it again. We'll do it again, maybe in a different
different light.
Different light. Yeah, we'll do it a little bit.
And better. Which is fine. We don't want people, because I feel like people listen to us and they're just assuming that's like this is just what we've been talking about. We're 2 months in.
Right.
We don't want to have just those conversations. I want to because somebody that has a problem, they're not going to be able to go on a big platform and talk. But you can come on here and talk, and hopefully we can grow that into other people being able to do it. So. Absolutely. Last episode. This is the new episode 9. We're going to keep chugging along here, keep moving forward. Again, as we always say, let us know if you guys are interested in coming on, bullshitting. I did talk to Grando last weekend, so we're going to hopefully get something going soon with him.
Hopefully as this summer winds down,
it's going to be better
we'll get a little bit more time going on, and then but I think that actually it's a good segue. So as the summer winds down, we should hopefully have a little more time, just because our schedules are so crazy, but we may have a lot of time. COVID's back. Well, it seems like it, right? It's back in the news. It seems to be the hot topic, no matter what channel you put on or who you follow. But the Delta variant is back, and I kind of wanted to get my opinions on the entire thing out there.
Well, apparently there's another variant as well that someone in Texas or somewhere got from, I don't know, I forget what it's called. But
I don't think they know either. So my biggest complaint throughout this entire process, and just to preface all this, I don't have a problem wearing a mask in places. I don't care.
I did at first. I fucking hated it. I rebelled against it.
Yeah.
But then once I realized, that was at the beginning when I just thought it was, just for show. Now, then when I realized, people were dying and, things were happening.
Yeah. I mean, we've always held the stance that, this is a real thing. People get sick, people die. Obviously. So I have no problem wearing a mask. I mean, it sucks. Nobody likes it, but whatever.
I'm used to it now. I mean, it's...
Right. Plus, you have one on at work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All day.
So you get used to it. You do anything for a year, I think you get used to it. So, but anyway, that's not the stance, not the sword I'm trying to die on, I guess. But or the hill I'm trying to die on, whatever the saying is. But anyway,
maybe you fell off a hill onto a sword.
Onto a sword. Either way, it's not the one I want to die on. Yeah. But my biggest complaint throughout this entire process has been the inconsistency of the logic.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. And maybe you guys can enlighten us. But now, and I'll just speak to my own experience. So my kids are going to school. Well, Lennon's going to school. Oldest is going to school. Going into second grade, they had masks on throughout the year last year. Our school district actually was a little bit different than a lot of other school districts. They were in person pretty much the entire year. They did right at Thanksgiving through Christmas come home and do virtual, but it was like all day, on a Zoom call. So it was cool. It worked, right? I mean, it was new and we learned, but it's 2021. That kind of stuff should be easy. We should be able to do that. Like if kids are homesick or whatever, it shouldn't be.
That's actually a good point. There should never be a sick day for a kid anymore because you could just virtual the class.
Pretty much. I mean, now granted, if they're like miserable.
Yeah, right. You don't want to make them do
but
that.
If you're just keeping them home because you don't want to get other people sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or for like me, whenever I used to just not go, like I think I had 40 absences one year just because I didn't want to go. But then you come back and it was that day that teacher gave you fucking.
Yeah.
So in all the classes you had enough homework you could never catch up on.
Right, exactly. So,
but yeah, you're completely right.
It's a completely new age, obviously, with the technology available to us. But that being said, so they came out a couple weeks ago, the school district, and said, okay. This was before the COVID was back into the news as much as it has been recently. Said, okay, we will not require masks in person this upcoming school year. And that was backed by the CDC. So they're basically following the CDC recommendations. So that was I guess, lifted by the CDC because I think after this last school year, they realized kids are obviously not as affected by it. With a lot of the population being vaccinated, the stance of kids can get it and give it to their parents, grandparents, or whatever. So with more and more people getting vaccinated, that fear seemed to come down as well. But then, literally last week, the CDC came out and said, even if you're vaccinated, and I believe California started this. Already, LA County at least, that even if you're vaccinated, they suggest wearing a mask. Now, that's fine, but again, the logic doesn't make sense to me. So it's like they wanted you to get vaccinated to protect other people, right? It was, I think, like commercials and shit were like, protect your neighbors or protect your grandparents and get the vaccination. So you would get the vaccination and one would think, okay, well now I'm good. The odds of me passing it along are slim to none. Well, then they came out after the vaccinations came out and said, hey, even though you get a vaccination, you can still pass it on. Well, it's like, oh, okay, great. Like, you can still get it and still pass it. And it's like, okay, well, it'll just minimize your symptoms. And you're like, well, shit, okay. All right, that's fine. Whatever, just, be cautious. Same thing, the common sense thing. Wash your hands. If you're sick, stay home. The stuff that, again, when this all started, we all looked at each other like,
you should be doing that anyway.
Why is that news?
Yeah.
Why is that something new from the CDC? So again, the logic is inconsistent. So now you're vaccinated, and now you have to wear a mask. So, in my opinion, we've come full circle. We started with masks. They implemented a vaccination, multiple vaccines, and now we're back to wearing masks. So, again, my question is, and has been, when is it over?
And what was the point of it anyway?
Well, but when is it over? When is the point where they say, okay, we're back to normal? Now, a lot of people will say, well, there's never going to be back to normal. Right. There is a new normal, and that's fine, right? Whatever. But when is it going to be, is it always going to be a variant? I'm sure it mutates constantly. Yeah, that's what a virus does. I mean, I'm not a, virologist, but from my biology days, I think as you defend against one, it mutates, and that's kind of, that's an issue with the viruses.
Yeah.
So,
isn't that how it goes with the flu? Every year it's
well,
different.
and that's another thing that came out. Did you see about the CDC?
Mm-mm.
They came out and said that the PCR tests that they've been implementing, they've changed the way they count COVID cases now, because some of the PCR positives could have been flu.
Yeah, I mean,
it was like by a factor of 10, flu cases went down this year, or 2020, by a factor of 10 from 2019. So, which is insane, by the way.
because that's not.
That can't be true.
That can't be right.
Right?
I saw either it was Austria or Australia already went back to shutdown.
Australia, yeah. Sydney's in lockdown. They've been in lockdown for, I think, 5 weeks.
I mean, it's tough because you see things, and you could see things on the CDC, or you could see things on Reddit or Instagram. You'll never really know the truth.
Right.
I just saw, and I was trying to find it again. They're saying now another shot, a third shot,
A booster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will be. I'm never gonna take it, and if my rights get taken away for not taking it, I just have a weird spot in my heart for vaccines. I've never had the flu shot, but I've also never had the flu. But going through having arthritis and taking some serious pharmaceutical drugs, I don't ever want to go down that path again. I don't care what it is. Like, I'm not putting it into my body. I could be on my deathbed, and I'm just be like, listen, this is how I'm supposed to go.
You should have the choice.
Right, exactly. But they're saying you won't be able to travel, you won't be able to do this, you won't be able to do that. Get the fuck out of here. Right.
That's crazy to me. I mean, and I don't think a lot of people actually understand what that means. Like, can you imagine somebody now, private institutions or whatever, even state institutions, because like I had to get the meningitis shot to go to college, which is fine, whatever. But again, the meningitis vaccination, along with many other vaccinations, have been around for years, right? Tested, trials. This is 11 months old? No, not even. It came out, November, I think?
Right.
So, I mean, 8, 9 months? 8 months?
Well, in the field I'm in, there's a lot of medical professionals that come in, and I have multiple conversations with them, and they always ask, are you vaccinated? And I say no. And then they instantly say, well, okay, well, why? And I tell them, well, I have an autoimmune disease, and I just not sure what it's going to do to me. And not a one of them said, you should still get it. They all said, I completely understand. We'll have enough herd immunity for you to be able to not take it, which makes me feel good, because I do feel like a piece of shit. I'm not trying to get a disease and then just run around like a zombie and just throwing up on people and, making them get it. Like, that's not my point. If you told me that I had to stay inside for a year to make sure everything was good because I was the one that didn't get it, then I would do it. But I'm not going to get it because I just don't feel... I feel the way I feel about it, and I feel the way I feel about...
And the bottom line, no matter what side of the...
but it was free.
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy.
But you're going to charge diabetics $1,300 for insulin.
What, did you see that Pfizer is on pace to make $32 billion off the vaccine this year? From the government.
How?
From the government.
That's what I mean. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So
and I've watched, and I know I've talked about Rogan on this podcast before, but probably 2 to 3 times in the last month, one of his guests have talked about ivermectin. Have you ever heard of ivermectin? So apparently it's pretty popular over in Africa and the Middle East. I believe they use it for horses. It's like an and I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this. I want to say it's like an anti-worm medicine of some sort. Something like that. But it's a generic drug that has been used for over 40 years. And it shows not only upsides for treating people that already have COVID, but as a prophylactic, as a preventative measure. So, and multiple people on Joe Rogan's podcast have said, the reason why it's not out there is because it's a generic drug. There is no money to be made off of it.
And because it works.
And like people think, what's crazy is I read a lot of this shit, and people are like, oh, good on Pfizer and Moderna and J&J for providing these vaccinations for free.
Yeah.
Look at their financial reports. They've made the most money in the last 12 months than they ever have.
The stock market on them.
It's crazy. Pfizer's through the roof. I mean, what do you... I just don't understand how people can sit there and say, good on them. Well, hey, listen, everybody's going to make money one way or the other.
Right.
They're not doing it for free. They shouldn't do it for free, in my opinion, because... Not that they should charge the population, especially if we're being forced to take it, but it costs money to make shit. Like, I'm not begrudging them for making money. Like, hey, you got to pay these scientists to figure this shit out. You got to pay for the equipment. You got to play, there's a lot of shit that goes into it. I'm in a construction field. I understand it. Shit isn't free.
Right, yeah.
But it's just, again, the inconsistency between some people's arguments. And at the end of the day, whatever choices I make, I'm not vaccinated. And I probably won't get vaccinated. At least not anytime soon. I'm not saying I'll never get it. But I'm going to let it run its course, right? Like everybody says, well, they should go through human trials. Like, I hope you guys realize it is going through human trials right now.
Yeah. Just
on all of us instead of volunteers. Like, did anybody ever hear what happened to the 3 people in Seattle that got the first vaccination? Remember, it was a huge fucking news thing, right? I never seen no updates. No, I mean, they're probably fine, but I'm just saying.
But are they?
I think we're the the lab rats.
Yes.
So right now I won't take it, but again, in the future, who knows? But again, just the inconsistencies, like it's flip-flopping weekly.
Well, I saw another stat too that there's more positive COVID cases this year at this time than there was last year. How the fuck does that make any sense? I saw that
with a vaccine.
With a vaccine. So,
well, now did you see they're going to change because that looks bad? CDC's coming out and they're only going to count a positive COVID case if. So there's 2 scenarios. You're a positive COVID case if you're vaccinated and end up in the hospital, or you're a positive COVID case if you're unvaccinated and test positive. So if you're vaccinated, the only way you're counted as a positive COVID case, even if you test positive, is if you end up in the hospital. But if you're unvaccinated, you test positive, even though they've just said that it could be a flu positive, you're a COVID case. Again, that just doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me because... And that makes me question everything that I see and read, which
you should
hopefully, question hopefully you guys are questioning shit because, listen, I trust the medical field. I trust science. But I don't necessarily trust the people that are making money off of this stuff.
Yeah, the people behind the scenes. Because I don't fucking trust anybody.
So I just wanted to talk about the COVID. I do, in fact, think the quote-unquote dark winter is coming, as you see online. I think the shutdown's coming. I think they're setting it up to get ready. This Delta variant being back in the news.
It sucks. It sucks.
But I just think 100%. They're setting it up to so whenever this happens, come I don't know Thanksgiving again, we're not going to be surprised. They're gonna be like, well, we told you in June,
right?
Delta variant.
But now my only thing is the people that we all thought this was, or not all of us, but there's people that thought the first one was set up for the election. So now obviously that's going to be thrown out if this dark winter does come. Either way, it fucking sucks, and we've known people that have lost people to COVID,
absolutely,
and
man.
It sucks. Terrible, and like I said, I want to sit here and say I'll never get it, and I feel like a piece of shit because I know there are people that have gotten sick, and you can spread it, and all these different things, but. It just goes to actually the point I want to go into is about how the world's progressing. You can do and think and be whoever you want now, but they're wanting to force you to take something, but you can,
I've seen that online. Like my body, my choice is like a big thing. Well,
yeah. I don't care what anybody fucking does. You want to be white, black, a Simpson, a Smurf, a dragon, a mermaid, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's the way the world's becoming, which is great. I love that. I love that people are allowing that to happen, but you're telling me now, okay, well, you're not that person because you won't get this thing that you don't know. So I don't know. I think it's all a very thin line between, what's right and what's wrong and who's crazy and who's not. And I'm just going to continue to do my thing. And I don't care what you believe or if you got the vaccine or how you're doing it. Doesn't matter to me. Like, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Live your life. But there is definitely inconsistencies in the system and the things that are going on. And they have been since day one. And I get there will be arguments where people will say, well, that's because it's new and we don't know things and we don't know. Yeah. Well, okay, then how did you make a fucking vaccine? And how is it okay to take that if it's new and you don't know these things and you don't know all this? So
again, it's just inconsistent. And again, I just want to put this out there. Like, I have every vaccination. We've gotten the flu shots here. So definitely not anti-vax
No, me
overall.
neither.
But hey,
I'm just anti. It came out yesterday.
yeah, right.
But
right.
I did have a doctor come in, and she was like, "Listen, they've been testing this for years." I'm like, "Well,
True.
Okay,
That is true. I've read about that. They because of coronavirus, they've been working on coronavirus vaccinations for some time since H1N1, I believe. But again, a rebuttal to that is I read an article. Or no, you know what? It wasn't an article. I believe it was a doctor. I saw a video of a doctor, and he pointed out a pretty interesting stat that the H1N1 vaccine, right? H1N1 killed, I want to say 6 million people worldwide. I think we're at just over 4 million for COVID. 6 million people worldwide. They came out with a vaccination for it. I'm sure probably 100% of the people listening to this podcast didn't get it. I didn't get it because it wasn't being pushed like it is today. But it wasn't that long ago. I want to say it was 2009.
yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't that long ago.
I mean, we were old enough to take a vaccine if we were told. Like, we could have been in the same position. Right. Anyway, there were 15 deaths from the vaccination, and the vaccination was halted. The last stat I saw from the government, I think it's called the Vaccine Adverse Reaction something. It's a website. I think it's linked on the CDC website. It tells you the adverse reactions and how they're reported. There's been over 12,000 people that died from the vaccine, and it's not halted. Now, if you remember, they halted the Johnson & Johnson one, like right before Hardcore was going to get it the day before.
The blood clots.
Yeah, and then it's back out. Like, they didn't come out and say, well, we just tweaked this. They just, we're good.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just like, I don't know.
Who the fuck knows? That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either. So it's like,
and to be honest, I don't really want to know. So I'm just going to keep living.
You just, in the bottom line, I mean, the underlying common denominator of this entire rant that we just went on for 20 minutes is you should have the choice.
Yeah, choice.
You should have the choice.
Yeah.
So that's what I just wanted to say. I think some shit's coming down the road.
Go ahead, put me out of work again. Gaming, podcasting.
Start fucking the payments back up. We'll be $100 trillion in debt, and Bezos could buy the U.S. and we'll be good.
Yeah.
While he's up in space.
Yeah. I'll be up there with him.
That'd be sweet. So
that did transition into the world progressing here.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a chance to talk about, me and Andy stuff in a couple weeks here because we had, Connor on twice and then, Sam last week. But we had an interesting one night after Golf League, and
the world is definitely progressing.
Yeah. So while I think it's great that a man could be a woman or a woman could be a man, or, you want to live any way you want, where I don't think it's great is that psychopaths think it's okay to do psychopathic things. Right. So me and Andy walk into this bar down Kelly's in Bridgewater, and just any typical day after golf. We had a few beers at golf, go sit down, talk, and, I don't get much time to do anything. So golf day is my day, and, Andy doesn't ever get to do anything. So,
golf day is my day.
Every once in a while, Abby's, okay with him going out with me for a little bit. And so we're there. We walk in and instantly meet a psychopath, like full blown. And I've met him out before, and He's a really nice guy, actually.
Oh, he's very cool. He's very nice.
But he was to the point where he was, a few too many beers deep of sanity. And there were so many things that he said and did during this day that I just I think I still have them in my notes, and you wouldn't really understand or laugh unless you were there seeing the situation. But there was a big, giant pile of wood, like, what were they, 2x4s?
Yeah, it was like a stack of 2x4s and some 4x4s. It looked like they were building like some fencing or something.
Yeah, and we had been talking for a while at this point, and I ran to the bathroom, and I come back, and he's standing by the edge of the 2x4s. He's like, pick one up, let's load this up into my truck.
So this is right when lumber prices were like at an all-time high, like up 500%, and like the running joke was, man, that 2x4, like, you must be rich. You have a 2x4, like I went and bought plywood at Lowe's, and they were like, geez, you must be rich. Just it's like the ongoing joke.
Yeah, and it was just like, I mean, from my point of view, I really had no idea like what to say or what was going on. I just look at Andy, he's cracking up, at just how ridiculous the guy is. Meanwhile, listen, so it's 9 o'clock.
He had a tape measure.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's 9 o'clock. He had his tape measure still, and he was just. he made the night so amazing. Just laughter after laughter after laughter. At one point, so we're at Kelly's, and there's sand there. We're talking about golf. He's like, "Oh, you guys came from golf league. I can hit a ball 400 yards." I'm like, "Okay, dude. Like, no one can do that." He went out into his truck and brought his golf clubs,
The whole bag.
the whole entire bag, not one ball and the whole entire bag, and stuck them in the sand, and was like, "Let's just start hitting balls over the river." And I'm like, "What?"
He said I could hit a 7-iron over the river. I was like, out of the sand? It's like, yeah. I was like, what are you doing?
And it's like that mushy ass sand too. Where
But
like
the thing is, again, like you said, the world's progressing. Nobody said anything. This human being walked in with a golf bag
Yep.
full of clubs
Yep.
through a busy bar. It was pretty busy
Yep.
that night. We were out in the sand area at the bar. He walks right in, and everybody
Like
just
there's nothing.
pays him no mind. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, there's what's his name with fucking his golf bag on again,
he's
and a
having-
tape measure on his fucking hip.
He's having another competition tonight.
It's crazy. He was measuring the stack of wood so he could have Duck help him take it to his truck. Like they were just going to allow him to walk out with it,
And they
which
might have.
They might have. They let him walk in with a golf bag.
Yeah.
So
I think at that point, anything was, and there was a million other things he said to a kid in our golf league, Corey, the things that he was saying to him. And like I said,
the greatest thing was Corey. So Corey's a bartender there.
yes.
And he literally served us beer all night to the point where this gentleman, he looked at me, he goes, "Corey, I didn't even know you worked here." I was like, "What? You think he's just behind the bar giving us beer?"
No. The one of the best parts was when he pulled out all that money
Oh
to
my!
buy us a drink. And you go, "Where'd you get all that money?" And what did he say?
I think I have a video of it.
Blame the ATM.
Yeah, blame the ATM. I was like, what? He goes, blame the ATM. It gives me way too much.
Yeah, he wanted to buy me and Annie a drink, which at that point we weren't paying anyway. But
Right.
he pulls out all this fucking money to buy us a drink, and Annie's like, "What are you doing with all the money?" He goes, "I don't know. Blame the ATM."
It was an extreme amount of money. It was
Yeah.
like $800.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Like it was brand new, fresh hundreds, and I was like, he was like, blame the ATM.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Like he put in 200 and it gave him 8.
Yeah, right. and maybe how crazy he is. That maybe how he saw that happening.
The fact that he had a fucking tape measure,
Yeah.
boggles my mind.
Yeah, at the bar. Like, just take it off. Like,
And
I know
he
you maybe
kept
came
pulling it
from
out
work.
to measure shit.
Yeah.
It was wild.
He was, but so that wasn't even really. And there were so many more things that this guy said that, like I said, I have them in my notes just for like my own reflecting on because it was so funny. But that wasn't even the craziest part of the night.
As you can imagine, yeah. I mean, imagine that. That wasn't the craziest part of that.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and I think maybe you saw it first, if he was behind us or what.
Oh, he's right in front of us.
I thought at one time he was like right here, and then he walked over, or maybe he was in front of us. I don't really
Yeah, I
remember.
think he was like right across the bar.
He was right across the bar, and Andy was like, "There's a snake," and I just thought it meant like slithering through the sand. I'm like, "Oh fuck," because I hate snakes. That's
Same
the
here.
only thing I'm scared of in
The
all
only
of
thing I'm
life.
scared of.
That's the only thing I'm scared of.
Snakes.
Yeah, and it's not like I admire them. I think they're an amazing creature. Like to
No.
watch them on TV, cool.
Makes
Like,
me get chills even just watching them move.
but like I ain't gonna touch one. I'm not gonna handle one. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna pet it. No, I don't care. Even though I know they're not slimy, I feel like they're slimy. they're the fucking devil's
Have you ever felt
devil's
one?
toy. No, and I won't.
Dude, it's so weird.
Fuck it.
I
Nope.
went over. I was petting.
I know
this
you
thing.
did. I synced it. And for somebody to be scared at snakes that you did that, it's pretty impressive because I wouldn't have. I was terrified the entire night.
Well, I took this guy's word for it that it wasn't going to bite me.
Well, so anyway, this guy has a fucking snake around his neck.
Sitting
and
at the
it's
bar.
slithering down on the bar. I'm a snake. And I'm looking across and I'm just freaking out because I don't know, like, because there's people that have snakes that they can sense when people are scared that they like try to like
Well, not
take
only
their
that-
fear away from them.
What made me the most freaked out was nobody cared.
No.
Like everybody was cool with the fact this guy's sitting here. This son of a bitch behind us has a golf bag and a tape measure, and then the guy in front of us has a fucking snake.
Well, and before that guy, the two people, the one smashed a whole 4-ounce cup of ranch dressing in that girl's face and flipped her off the bar stool. All this stuff happened.
Yeah, we should have recorded all this.
All this stuff happened. Like, there's some stuff I say on here that might be a little,
Like
yeah,
Exaggerated.
just exaggerated for the story, and maybe just a little bit, not a lot. But this is all true. This all happened. This kid, it looked exactly like Hiltz's doppelganger. Took a whole 4-ounce cup of ranch dressing and smashed it like this into this girl's face, and she did a backflip.
She flipped off her chair.
Maybe that's why Simone Biles didn't compete. It was her.
Hand me one of those over there. God, get it down.
Where's the other one?
I brought them both.
It's right here. I'll take yours.
Oh, damn it.
But it was, dude, it was unbelievable. So anyway, this guy has a snake, and every time I'm going to pee, I'm just fearing that like we're gonna walk in. I'm gonna walk out of the bathroom. He's gonna walk in at the same time. The snake's just gonna like fucking get at me. Terrified the entire night. So he was there the entire time we were there, just letting this thing slither around. And I would see like the people next to him, and they wouldn't even really bat an eye. They were just like trying not to make eye contact with the guy or the snake. Like I would instantly move. If I turned and saw a snake, I'd nope.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Out of here. But the fact that a bar will let a guy just come in with a fucking slithering black, it wasn't even a pretty snake, like this magical tropical colored snake that was so beautiful. It was black, like a terrifying
it was a rat snake is what it was. Well, okay, so
I don't care
so
what
listen,
it was.
I'm curious by nature, so I had to walk over, and I had enough beer that I wasn't extremely terrified by this thing. So I walk over and I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, "Hey man, what kind of snake is that? You bring it here often?" He's like, "Yeah, it's been here a couple times." And this guy he's a character to say the least. And he has a leather jacket on, and he's talking to this snake like he's known this snake forever. I'm like, "So, what kind of snake is it?" He's like, "Oh, it's a rat snake. Yeah, it's been here a couple
What was his
times."
name?
Oh God, I forget.
Something fucking epic, I hope.
I forget what it was. But the best part is, where do you buy a snake? Like I'm like, oh, like you buy that at a pet store. He's like, nah, I bought off a guy up in Mercer.
He bought it off of Connor's fucking guys on Marketplace selling toad venom.
Yeah, same dude selling toad venom. So I'm like, oh, really? Like you just buy a snake on fucking online? He's like, yeah, I Googled it, found a snake. I'm like, oh, how long you've had him? He said 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 full weeks, yeah. Great.
And he's like, yeah, I'm with this snake all the time, man. He's like, this snake is the most laid back snake as long as he ain't hungry.
Oh,
and I'm like, well, what do you feed him? He's like, rats. I'm like, where do you get rats? He goes, well, first of all, I felt like an asshole because I go, what do you feed it? He goes, rats. It's a rat snake. I'm like, oh, sorry, Steve Irwin. I didn't fucking know. My bad. I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I'm the dumbass. You're the psychopath in here with a
You're
snake
sitting here
wrapped
with
around
a
your
fucking snake.
Like it's a scarf.
And then the best part was it started to get a little rowdy. Like it was on his arm. It started to get a little rowdy going down the bar like this. And he was like, oh, come on back. Come on back.
Come on back now here.
Come on back. I was like, all right, why do you have him here?
Right.
And apparently it turns out he's been to Mario's dockside also.
So I got, because I put that on my story, so for those of you that saw it, it obviously was true. You know that it was. Allison from Mario's Dockside messaged me, and she said, oh my God, that dude was just in here, and the snake shit all over him, so he had to go change his shirt.
I didn't even, like, what the fuck? Where are we living?
That's what I mean. So you're just allowed to do whatever the fuck you want, apparently, at this point.
So imagine that. Me and Duck are sitting there after a day of golfing, having beers, and we're not the craziest people there. Mm-mm. There's a couple, they get in a ranch fight and fall off into the sand.
Yep, get
yelled at by the owner.
They got kicked out for that. But.
Yeah. But then a guy walks in with a golf bag and a tape measure. He wants to steal all their lumber and hit balls across the fucking river.
I do remember one time he said, I'll take that snake and hit it over the river. I think that's what he said. He hit it over the river with a 7-iron. Yeah.
And then a guy with a fucking snake. And I'm like, out of all the people, it shouldn't have been the kids that were fighting with the ranch. Should have been the guy with a bag full of weapons.
Yep.
A bag full of weapons.
Oh, dude. Oh, hold on. I have to find what he said because it was funny because he was getting a little aggressive. What he said when I said, what do you think would happen if me, you, and Andy took on this whole bar? Oh, man, I hope I can find it because it was... Oh, man, please.
I love that you write this down.
Dude, look, all of them. He called, what's his name? Oh, dude, it's... Okay. So he was getting a little aggressive, and I told him, I said, what would happen since you have these clubs here? If we got into a fight with the entire bar, do you think we'd win? And he goes, we wouldn't need those clubs. And I said, what would happen? He goes, we would bite in the shit out of this place and vaccinate everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't remember the context of this one, but he said long hair is a family trait. Oh my God, yeah. So I don't hit a driver at golf. I can't do it. I just can't. And he told me that he only hits his 3 would as well. So I said, why can't you hit your driver? And he says,
Oh my God.
I can't hit my driver ever since I bombed a hill downtown in Monaca.
He rode his bike, I think, down 14th Street Hill in Monaca.
And he said, bomb that hill in Monaca.
And he fucking ate it all the way down the fucking hill.
Oh my God. Yeah, at one point he said, I'll rip that palm tree out with my bare hands and toss it across the river with one hand.
He's only 5'6" at least. Dude, this guy was unbelievable.
Corey's 6, probably 2.
Yeah.
He said, you're only 5'6" at least.
But he didn't realize he was standing on the stage. Like in the bar.
He called Corey Lenny from Mice and Men, said
Dude.
tall and handsome, but stupid as fuck.
Dude, oh man, this guy was great.
Corey, I didn't even know they paid you. Oh, yeah. I mean, there was too many good ones, but yeah.
No, that's good that we talked about that because we've been, that happened about a month ago probably.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And we've been wanting to tell you guys about that. God, this guy. And some of you listening to this know this guy. I actually
he's
text
real.
Rick. I text Rick. I was like, is this so-and-so from your old neighborhood? He's like, holy shit, yeah.
Well, I saw him at the bar a couple weeks after that with me and Geed went, and Big Rick was there, and Big Rick knew exactly who he was. So.
What a psycho, man.
I mean, he was great. He made me laugh, and he actually.
He meant well.
Yeah. No, and then when he started talking about his daughter, you could see he was actually
he was a normal human.
Yeah, he was just.
He was
just buzzed up, being ridiculous. Like, I mean, I've done some ridiculous shit, but I've never brought my golf clubs into a bar, into the sand, and try to hit a snake 180 yards over the river.
I never thought you could.
No,
Maybe I will now.
Now that I know I can. Speaking of now that I know I can, so more of progressing. Okay. I saw a kid rollerblading through the fucking mall the other day. And not on the shoe blades.
Not the wheels, the heelys.
Full roller blades. Like he was Brink. Just skating around with fucking whatever.
Did he have the ones you could grind with at least?
Yeah, he had everything.
That's sweet.
And I just saw him speed by. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I'm looking. I'm just like, that kid was rollerblading.
Listen, people don't give a fuck no
That's
more.
what I mean.
Rules don't apply.
You can do whatever you want.
Rules don't apply anymore.
Do whatever you want.
Fuck it. It's like, it says like no loitering. All they do is loiter.
Yep.
It's like, oh, you should put a sign, loiter here. Nobody would loiter.
Meanwhile, you come out of the movies and, 8th grade going down to the McDonald's and instantly cops are like, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah, you can't walk down to Eaton Park. Get
now kids indie grabbing, the rails at Chick-fil-A in the mall like he's, fucking Tony Hawk.
Well, that mall's an interesting place.
Well, listen, I told you when I looked out the other day and I saw this guy, he was performing some sort of sorcery. I don't know what it was, but it was nuts. And he's like, go and talk to him. I
said, film it for the podcast.
Yeah, film it. I knew as soon as I pulled my phone out, he would see me and then just send something into me that I could never get rid of.
He would possess, possess you.
And this went on for an hour. He's just outside just doing all this fucking crazy shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then the final act, he started summoning lightning from the fucking skies. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? You just, I don't know. Oh. I mean, I'm glad that I'm not that insane. Maybe I am because I feel like there's parts of my brain that are becoming the spiritual weirdness level that I never thought existed. But that dude was fucked up, and I don't even know what he was on.
Same thing. Wow, that's. I'll tell you what. Are we professional? Because man, is that a good transition?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we'll get into. We mentioned this on the Instagram. Little snippet. Our boy. Everybody's favorite, Connor. He is currently alone in the woods. Mm-hmm. And no, he's not filming Naked and Afraid, but I'm pretty sure he's naked and afraid.
I don't think he was afraid. He wasn't afraid when he called me, even though he called me 7 times in an hour. So maybe he needed something.
Well, he forgets fear now. Well, fear doesn't exist anymore for him. So he's just naked, probably. Yeah. Uh-huh. Naked and alone.
Yeah, so he called me the other night, FaceTime, which is awkward. I mean, there's not awkward, but it was weird. I didn't understand why I was on my way home from work. It was 7:30, and I pick it up while I'm driving, and he's like, "What are you fucking doing?" And I'm like, "I'm on my way home from work." He goes, "You're such an idiot. Such a, what are you gonna keep doing that your whole life and just
conforming to the system?"
Conforming to the system. So jokingly, because I joke with him about just being a hippie liberal and just joking with me. But I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was shirtless. And he was like, well, I'm like, oh boy. He drove 6 hours to upstate New York into the woods alone. And there was I don't want to call it a shack. I'd say
it's an abandoned bus, it looks like.
Well, that was a part of it.
Oh, okay.
There was a shack, a shed as big as this room that was shingles on it, the whole works. That's where he was staying. No electricity, no nothing. And he was just like, I'm just out here. I'm like, well, what do you mean you're just out there? He's like, oh, I don't know. I just want to, just need it for the soul, be one with, I'm tripping on acid. And I'm like, what? I didn't understand. So he starts taking me around a trip like it's MTV Cribs, and this is where he just moved into. And he's trying to show me like the different trails, and he shows me this abandoned bus, and I was like, go in it. And he like started to, and then he got super freaked out, and he was like, I don't think I can go in there. Because who knows what's in there? Probably that fucking snake guy.
That's a portal to another dimension.
The snake guy.
The snake guy's in
is there blocking the portal, and you have to charm the snake to get in.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, he like I said, he called me probably 7 times, and like I could slowly see him getting more acid into his body. God, it was the trip was slowly starting, and he finally said to me at one point, he goes, "I'm sorry, man, I'm not going to call you. I feel like I'm annoying you," which he wasn't, because I just. Every time, like, we'd get off the phone, I'd text Andy.
What a legend.
And Andy was like, there's no fucking way he did that. So next time he called, I was like, Connor, Andy said that's sorry. He goes, what do you think this is, a fucking green screen? He was blowing out candles because he was getting scared that he was going to burn the whole thing down. But meanwhile, in the background, you could see a fire blazing up through the sky.
What did he say? Is that does this look like a liberal fire?
Yeah. He goes,
no, liberal and Republican fires is the same.
Yeah, he sent me a picture of a fire and said, liberal and a Republican can both build fires the same way. Which I guess.
said, yeah, but a liberal would have taken half of my wood.
So Connor, I made him send me. Andy made a good point. He was just like, well, one, not that I don't believe him, but maybe I just don't have him send you his location. So he did. One, because I wanted to see it, and two, just because, I mean, dude, I've never done acid, and I never will, because my mind is way too
He's
scared.
always on that level.
Yeah. So, like, I couldn't do it in here, in this room, safe, with armed guards out there that were going to make sure that I'm okay. But this motherfucker's out in the woods doing it by himself.
That's wild, dude.
In the middle of nowhere. And I was like, dude, and I tried not to say things to, like, freak him out, but I had to, because, like, what he was showing me, I was like, dude, you're on the fucking Blair Witch Project. He was like, you're right, man. He, like, totally embraced it. He's like, this is going to be sweet. And then at one point he told me, he goes, you know what? If people do approach me, it's a bad move on their part. He goes, because this is my space. And he goes, but I don't think anybody would, like, attack me, because they see how, like, calm I am. But if they tried anything, they're dead.
Oh, boy. Godspeed, Connor.
Yeah, so we're going to have him on again just to talk about his experience.
Oh,
he was out there for a few days. I think it was, Tuesday? Tuesday. And he was staying there till Friday. So he sent me a picture of a baby llama farm yesterday, which I do want to go see, because llamas are fucking sweet. But yeah, he's out of his mind, and it's great, and I can't wait to have him on to talk about it again. And
we just need him to do remote video.
Well, I told him that. I said, Friday, if you're still there, or Thursday, FaceTime me, and then we'll have you live. And he was like, I'll be cleaning up by then. I don't know how. I'm just like, okay. So we'll have him on to talk about it, and yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, you guys are going to want to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Gosh.
I was there with him, and not with him, but like on FaceTime, and I still couldn't believe it. So I can't wait to hear
Listen, I saw what he does on an island in the middle of the Allegheny River, as we talked about in his first and second episode. And he was insane there. So apparently he doesn't get bit by bugs.
Yeah, he said that. He actually brought that up too. He said, I'm just here to prove I don't get bit by bugs either. What's funny, it's
unreal.
It is unreal, and it's unreal to me that I was with him the weekend before, and we were drinking all night, and it was not like any trippy stuff. It was just like him playing rap music, drinking until we got back to Geed's, and then he was like trying to explain to Geed DMT, and Geed just like wasn't having it. And then we watched 4 hours of Mike Tyson videos, but it wasn't anything like that. And then I have this conversation with him on the phone. And it's just a completely different person. I honestly envy him, because I wish I could like be that. But
he can go to places in his head that a lot of us only like wish we could.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm starting to.
And he has the life that he can do it too, which helps a lot. I mean,
right.
Who the hell else can fucking pack up on a Tuesday and go into the middle of the fucking woods?
Well, it's funny, because I asked him, I was like, so what's going on? He's just like, I just wish all you guys were here so we could experience this together. I was like, why didn't you want to wait? And he's like, why would I wait when I can just do it on a Tuesday? Touche, man.
Touche.
I
mean, is it logical? Not really, but that's his thing.
Yeah, he was talking about I'll let him tell everything about the hills, and his last name's Hill, so maybe his ancestors brought him to there, and it was nuts. But I'm starting to understand a little bit of the spiritualness because I've been on like this weird, like not trying to do it. Things have just been happening to me that like never happened before. As we started this podcast, I've been like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
What's it called? It's like
Spiritual quest.
No, just a lot of coincidences are being noticed more, I would say.
No, it's not even that. Like the thing that I told you when I got here.
Yeah.
Like that's just that's not noticing. That's like we had not even spoke that whole day, and for it to like have it, dude, weird. So I hope I'm gonna get to that point with Connor because then I can just live in the woods with them, especially if COVID's coming and gonna work anyway. So
I'll tell you what, that'll be great for content.
Yep.
It's gonna be hard to figure out when I can get up there. But
well, COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work anyway.
Yeah. So
I just need internet connection.
where are we at on there?
45.
45 minutes. Do we have any 15-minute filler?
Yeah, I wanted to. What else did we say we wanted to talk about? I forget now.
The department store people.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. We can close on this. Now I don't know if everybody out there or if a bunch of you listening are DIYers. Even if you're not DIYers, it doesn't really matter. But if you've ever gone to like a department store, Lowe's, Home Depot, I guess even Walmart, maybe not as much Walmart, but like Lowe's and Home Depot more so than anything else. And I'm sure like I'm trying to think of something else. Like I'm sure in other departments and other stores you have the same experience. But anyway, we went to Lowe's because I'm constantly doing something in this house, whether it's the bathroom's been a saga that I'm redoing, but then within there we add a lot of extra projects. So I went to Lowe's with Abby and the kids, and we're walking around Lowe's, and we had to get paint. So I have no problem.
Do you only go to Lowe's, or do you split at Lowe's, Home Depot?
No, I only go to Lowe's because we're close.
Okay. Is there a Home Depot around here?
Chippewa.
Oh, okay.
So I just go to Lowe's just because it's close. But anyway, I have a pretty good idea of like how to do stuff. Like I grew up, my grandfather built houses and shit like that. So, and then my dad and my grandfather always were doing shit. We had rental property. So like I'm versed enough to be able to do shit on my own. So I guess I checked the box as a DIYer. Anyway, went to Lowe's and I needed paint to paint my shower ceiling. So for those of you who know, they make like shower and bath paint. It's like mold and mildew resistant. Right. It's going to be exposed to moisture. So it's just a different kind of paint. Anyway, I didn't need a lot. So I got a quart of just a small quart because I have this material that I put on the shower ceiling as well. And I just wanted to paint it to seal it essentially. It was already weatherproof. Like it was water resistant. But anyway, I just, for extra layer
just a little extra.
I wanted to seal it up with some paint, and plus it went with our color scheme better. So anyway, I grabbed this paint, and I walk up to the counter. Actually, Abby walks up to the counter, and there is a lady behind the paint counter at Lowe's that is 75 years old. And she has her nails done perfectly. Like, she didn't look like somebody that, like, she was just filling space there, you know? Like, she's just doing her time and working. I wouldn't call her a paint expert, per se. So Abby goes up and says, hey, and I didn't prompt Abby to ask this. Ab, if you watch this, don't ever do that again. But she goes, hey, would this be the correct paint that I should use in a shower?
When you already knew, right?
I already knew.
Okay.
That's why I grabbed it.
She was just being...
That's why I grabbed it. She just doesn't trust me.
Yeah.
At all. I'm an idiot to her, so whatever. So the lady proceeds to say, well, what are you putting this on? And Abby says, well, we have this treated material that we're putting on the ceiling, but we're just doing this to get it to the color we want, essentially. It's already sealed, but whatever. She goes, well, are you putting it on drywall? Abby says, no. So I'm standing behind her like a few feet. So I'm letting this go.
You're already fuming.
I'm fuming. Blood pressure is ticking up. Kids are going insane. So I'm ready to be done. She goes, well, what are you putting this on? Like, are you putting this on drywall? Abby repeats herself. No. Putting this on a different material but the material is on drywall. She goes, well, you need to paint the drywall. I don't say anything. And Abby's like, she like kind of looks back at me and I'm like, what's that? She was like, not that this is coming from a place of authority or I know what I'm talking about, but anybody that's putting drywall in a bathroom paints drywall. So I said, the drywall isn't exposed, number one.
Right.
We're covering it. Number two, it's already purple drywall. For those of you who don't know, it's like a bathroom rated drywall, moisture resistant. I don't need to paint the drywall. Just fucking mix the paint. And I'm out of here, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So she goes, well, I'm just saying you should definitely paint the drywall. I said, fine, I'll just paint the drywall with this fucking paint. Fine. Are you going to come check? Are you going to come look? Just give me the goddamn paint. All I need you to do is tint it and mix it. Okay.
Scan it. Here's my money.
So, like, good Lord. So we leave the quart of paint and kids are going nuts. So we like walk around and like we're killing time. Come back like 10 minutes later. It's a quart of paint. It should take 3 seconds to fucking mix. I come back. Our paint's nowhere to be found. And she's dicking around with these gallons of paint. And she's like, just talking to us like we're not waiting for our shit. 10 minutes go by. So it's been 20 minutes since I gave her this paint. She looks at me and goes, well, it's going to be like 10 or 20 minutes. I said, for what? She goes, for all this paint. I said, all those gallons? There was like 6 of them. She goes, yeah. I go, I gave you a quart of paint 20 minutes ago. She's like, a quart of paint? What quart of paint? I was like, remember you told me I had to paint the drywall? She was like, oh, well, I don't know what I did with it.
Oh, my gosh.
So now blood pressure's here.
Yeah.
I'm about to tear everything off the walls. All those little fucking color swatches, I'm throwing them everywhere. I'm going to go insane. So I'm like looking around the fucking paint desk at Lowe's, and I see the quart of paint. Now, just so everybody knows, I'm not an idiot. We wanted to tint this paint pretty dark. And this particular paint, it's hard to tint darker because it takes way too much tint, and they don't necessarily like to take paint out to add tint in, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's why there's different bases for paint, right? This doesn't have different bases. It's a mold and mildew, so it is what it is. You can tint it, but sometimes darker colors are harder. Anyway, I knew all this going in. But her job is to fucking scan it and tell me that. But anyway, she wants to fucking give me a lesson. So she goes, I can't find it. I go, it's back here. It's at a register or one of the fucking computers. She ain't even around. So she goes back. She grabs it. Beep. Types in the number. I give her my little color swatch again. She goes, we can't do this.
Oh, boy.
I go, it's too dark, isn't it? She goes, yeah, how'd you know? I said, well, I had a feeling, but I would have loved to know that 25 minutes ago. She goes, well, do you want a different type of paint? I go, no, I'm good. She was like, well, let me just go you can use this Weather Shield paint. It can take darker tint. It has the base correct. I said, I'm done. She goes, well, it'll just be like 15 minutes. I said, no, I've been waiting for 20 minutes. I'm done, lady. I'll come back tomorrow. So pissed me off, drove me absolutely insane. Very next morning, I go back. And again, this isn't a sexist thing, but there's just some young dude there. And I walk up. I grab, instead of this mold and mildew, I get the Weather Shield. It's like exterior paint. It works. I mean, whatever. I said, hey, can this be tinted this color? He's like, yeah, no problem. Bing. Fucking punches it in. Tints. He goes, you need it. Like, he mixes it. What's he telling me? Oh, he's like, you need anything else with that, like brushes or anything? I'm like, no, I'm good, man. I got it all. I was literally there 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. Checked out, left. So my rant is, I understand people work in different departments at these department stores.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean they're pros in that particular department. Now, don't get me wrong. There's been times where I've been at Lowe's or Home Depot. I've been in like plumbing or something or electrical and asked the guy that's working in there. Normally, they have a general knowledge of that department they work in. And they've been helpful and it's been fine. But sometimes I can just read people, right?
Yeah.
And this lady, I knew full well with her like done up nails. She had perfect hair. Like she was just there like killing time. Retiree, like probably working like 10 hours a week or some shit.
Respect,
absolutely. But I knew she wasn't a paint. So
yeah,
if you're not the pro,
get
right?
someone.
Just mix the paint.
Yeah.
Like, first of all,
or just get someone.
Hey, do me a favor. Don't suggest what I should do.
There's 40,000 people that work there.
Well, that was another thing that drives me crazy. But like, do me a favor. Don't suggest what I should do. Just do what I ask. I'm here to pay you money to do what I ask. If you can't do it because the color is too dark, just tell me that and I'll move on.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But she wanted to tell me how to do something, and it drove me crazy. And it got me thinking. There are so many people that get in a position that then gives them a feeling of it justifies their opinion, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just like, overall, I mean, this was my experience, but I was curious to see if anybody else has ever run into this, because boy, does it drive me. I'm sure you run into that in your line of work.
Well, but for me, when I go into anywhere, and I just went into Lowe's not too long ago to buy plants, but this happens to me everywhere I go. I cannot find assistance no matter what.
Yes, it's miserable.
I went into Lowe's, and I was thinking about it while you were telling the story, and I was like, well, maybe it's because I went in with fucking skinny chinos, dress shoes, dot print shirt, and I'm looking at plants that they assumed I knew what the fuck I was talking about
because you're gay.
Because I'm gay, but I don't, And great, they have all these tags, and it's like, and the one that I've been reading and doing is not doing it right. I have to water this bitch twice as much that it tells me for it to grow. I did, because the edges were getting brown. I fucking chopped them off with scissors. Told Rick, said, don't do that, bud. Told my mom, she's like, I do that. Well, sorry, Mom. I'm going to trust Rick because got a degree, and you're just you don't even know. Even though my mom does have a beautiful fucking yard, like she does an exceptional job. But I was walking around for probably 45 minutes, and 40 different employees passed me, and didn't even. And I'd like turn, or I'd like pick it up and look all confused, like, what, huh? And no one would even give me the time of day.
Yeah.
So whatever. I just went about my bit, and like there comes a time where, at that point, there was a lot of just women there buying plants.
Yeah, right.
So the last thing I want to do is go up to them because they're going to think I'm hitting on them.
Yeah.
Hey, could you help me get this plant in my place? Like, what would you think? And then like, even when I go to get plants, this guy hits me. Yeah. No, fucking help me, because I'm an idiot when it comes to this shit. But it happens everywhere I go. I'll go, that day when I asked you where marshmallow fluff was, because I had no idea, because I've never bought it.
Right.
But unfortunately at the time, my girlfriend ate like she was a 4-year-old.
But I'll tell you what, though, you're right, though. That's Lowe's is horrible at that.
But that's that John Eagle that I go to.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
Again. But anywhere I go to, any fucking where, I wander around aimlessly like a fool. Just even sometimes if I know I can find it, I just want to see if somebody will help me.
Right. Just to see if somebody will notice that, like, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe I should at least just ask, like, hey, are you all right? Can I help you with something? No, nothing. They just kind of let you wander.
And it's the stores that have multiple things. But I'll go into a store and it's just called Socks, and I'll go in. Hey, can I help you find anything, sir? Yeah, no, I'm here. Socks.
Hey, what are you here for today? Well, it ain't shoes, but you only sell socks.
But anytime it's
amazing.
It's super frustrating.
Oh, man, it's so frustrating.
Because I hate bad customer service, because I give the great customer service, and I'm very, good at that and patient. But this, you're getting paid.
Oh, dude, it was. So there's two extremes, right? There's somebody that wants to help you and like
think they know
they know everything. Which is fine, and if I ask, and and you can help, I'm all for asking questions. That's not a problem. But then there's also the people that they are not even involved. They just got the Lowe's vest on because they're getting paid. Like, there's been times where I've walked around Lowe's, and what drives me crazy about Lowe's, especially, I'm sure a lot of people understand this, is like if you go and buy plumbing fittings or anything like that, like they have an inventory system, you would assume, right? You can go on their app and it'll tell you, there's 45 left in stock. You get there, none. And it's just because nobody's fucking scanned anything for 3 weeks.
That happened to me and Jesse, actually.
Oh, or you go there and they have one bolt. They have one bolt left. It's like, hey, you didn't get a notification like, hey, we're at 10 bolts. Might want to order some more bolts. Nope. They just say, wow, we order them when they're empty. That makes no sense. Hey, Lowe's, do better, huh?
Yep. Yeah, me and Jesse went to go buy a door there, and we had looked it up. Same thing. I fucking had all of them. And it wasn't like a irregular size door, not like, a super it was just a regular fucking door. We got there. Nope, didn't have anything we needed. And he was like, well, you could just use this one. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't, bud. You can't just, use this one for this exact dimensions that I need. God, so fuck you, Lowe's. Go to fucking Home Depot. It's probably worse there. Actually, no.
I do love Lowe's, but it's just sometimes the people.
I give those guys credit for walking on that concrete all day in there.
Walking on the concrete? God, you sound like my dad.
That's what my poor mom, too. She does that at Costco.
Yeah.
Concrete
sure.
all day. It's bad for your knees. I couldn't do it.
You got to wear the, what do they call them? The fucking Dr. Scholl's.
She does. She wears the Skechers with the memory foam.
Yeah. That's what you got to do. All right. I just wanted to vent and rant because
Lowe's fucking sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I do love Lowe's, though. I'm still a Lowe's guy at heart.
Lowe's, we're looking for a sponsor, by the way.
For a sponsor. Maybe you could redeem yourself.
Lowe's Home Improvement.
We'll do employee reviews for you. Performance reviews.
And that's another thing. I'll never give a review, even if it's a terrible time.
Oh, yeah, me neither. No, that's
or a good
dumb.
one.
That's dumb.
I was actually talking about that with DJK yesterday when I was there.
Oh, yeah?
He said people that give reviews are full-on psychopaths. And I agree.
They just love to hear themselves talk, but it's in text form.
And it's always something ridiculous, but that's for another topic. It looks like we might be able to.
It's you know what? It's getting bright.
But I did look at it's only 2. We should just go play now.
I know.
Oh, yeah. 30, 50, whatever. The weather app sucks anyway. Everything sucks. No one's good at their jobs. I don't even know why. Fuck. Maybe that is why COVID's here. Shut us all down because no one can fucking do their jobs right.
Right. Exactly.
So when you're all home, listen to the podcast.
Listen to the podcast. Make sure you check in, like, sub, subscribe, or like, sub, and share.
Speaking of which, I talked to you about this. One of our friends told us that when we put something on YouTube, they're not able to share it because it's a private thing or something. We have to actually post it if it's in the store. I don't know. I don't know how Instagram works. So
on Instagram or YouTube?
Yeah, on Instagram. I don't know. I don't know how Instagram works. So I posted that picture that you put of me passed out, and then half my head was cropped out. So I don't know how it works, but it was Wick. We'll talk to him and find out. So,
okay.
So if you haven't been able to share, it's our fault. But maybe he's an idiot. I don't really know.
Just hit the fucking airplane button, the little like paper airplane button, and share the story.
Cool. Either way.
Or you need the repost app to repost an actual post.
You told me that I'm not getting that. But anyway,
screenshot it and fucking crop it. Quit being.
That's I do, and I messed it up. But anyway, it's here or there. I don't really care. You do all that technical stuff, or Abby does, whoever. But yeah, so guys, please like, sub, talk to us about the Fantasy Football League.
Yeah.
If you guys want to get in or have any sweet ideas. Other than that, I don't got much more today. I do want to go golf because last week was we didn't make it.
DNF.
Yeah, 2 DNFs for me and Andy because,
that was brutal last week. That was tough.
Yep, so I do want to get out there and golf. I feel...
I did come off a outing win. I won that outing. We won that outing.
Yeah, we talked about that last time.
No, I just played in it last Saturday.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
So back-to-back outing wins.
Back-to-back outing wins.
So a back-to-back outing wins and a DNF stuck in between that golf league on a Thursday.
We finished, me, Rye, Boom, and Rick won the outing. And then we ended up at a cigar bar in Quip, which I'm going to save that for another, hopefully when one of them are on. So
all right.
It was great. But, big win. So feeling good, man. Feeling good. Feeling confident.
Swing lube.
Ready to get out there. We got, get some lube going. So, all right, folks, go ahead and sign off.
And also, we didn't get to say last week, I don't think. Never mind, that was 2 weeks ago. Scratch that. It was Geet's birthday. Did we wish him happy birthday?
We didn't, but happy belated.
Yeah, happy belated birthday. But yeah, all right, guys. Appreciate everything, and we will see you on the next one. Emma, come on, dude. It's 4 videos out.
How many do you need?
Get it together. How many do you need? We could do Corello too. I could be one of the Dalmatians. So come on, hit me up. I'm good. We're gonna be out of work here. Are you even gonna be able to? You could. I don't know. You gotta have a baby now.
Man.
Have a spare room. Fucking build you a crib. Anything. Future, as always, one and only. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Oh shit. Oh man, that was good. All right. I just envisioned Duck as a fucking Dalmatian. So. Oh man. So anyway, like Duck said, reach out about ideas for the fantasy league.
More ridiculous, the better.
Reach out about coming on, bullshitting.
If you lose, you have to get dressed up as a Dalmatian and walk through a park while someone beats you with a Singapore team.
It's gonna be something like that. I know Ride mentioned wanting to come on, so we'll hook something up. Grando's in the works. I know Corside's out there. So anyway. Keep a lookout. Again, like, sub, share. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. I don't know.
Tell everybody.
Tell
your
everybody.
coworkers.
Tell your coworkers.
Tell them about Safe Moon too.
Oh yeah, Safe Moon. Pump it. But anyway, thank you guys again for all the support, the love. I know last week with the episode, everybody was hyped about it. Excuse me. So appreciate that. Hopefully we can keep that momentum going. We'll get some more crazy shit going and get some more buddies out here. I know Hiltz is out there in the in outer space somewhere. We'll get him on.
Yeah, Artifacts Tattoo Parlor. Go see him.
Artifacts Tattoo. Go check him out.
Real quick, when we were at the bar last weekend, Hiltz was there. Connor, Baggio. We were gonna go to Hiltz's and get a chapel tattoo on our body somewhere. Good thing we didn't. Hiltz, thank you for stopping us.
He knows better. So check out Artifacts. But anyway, we'll get him on soon. So just keep an eye out for some more content. We're working on it. It's a pain in the ass, as we say every week, to schedule some shit. So
It's gonna get easier.
It's gonna get easier, but appreciate all the love and support, guys.
Come a far way.
Yeah. Wow.
We started this, then we got this.
Yeah, I mean we're getting
Now we're sponsoring holes.
Sponsoring holes. We already had a coupon code. So keep an eye out, man. We're growing. You guys are helping us. We appreciate it. We love you guys. And what else? Is that it? No, that's all I got. So
That's
we'll
it.
see
I
you on
already
the next
signed
one.
off, but I still been talking. So
Oh, I like that. All right.
donations.
We're heading out. Wish us luck with the rain. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.